So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I know we are all have things to do, so taking the time out of your busy schedule to share with us is greatly appreciated. Hopefully, now that the federal and state government is closed tomorrow for Juneteenth, yay! We can relax a little bit more this evening, enjoy ourselves. My name is Yvette Jefferson. I am the chair of the Economic Empowerment Committee of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Northern Virginia chapter. The National Coalition of 100 Black Women is a nonprofit organization that promotes the advocacy of Black women and girls in the area of education, health, and economic empowerment. Over the past year, the Economic Empowerment Committee has provided workshops on basic money management, savings and investment, how to interview during COVID, how to negotiate your salary, and we have provided information on the state of Black home ownership. Tonight, with the support of our Sisternomics Division, the Coca-Cola Foundation, and Truist Foundation, we are presenting our business workshop. We can't forget about our entrepreneurs. What is economic empowerment without entrepreneurs, right? So we hope that you will enjoy this workshop, and we hope that you will gain some information from it from our presenters. And at this time, I will now turn it over to our moderator of the evening, our first VP, Mrs. Angela Smith Mackey.
Well, thank you, Sister Jefferson. I really, really appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, today you are in for a treat. We have a wonderful panel of guest speakers who are going to share with us not only how they moved forward during the COVID season, but we also have two fantastic resources that I just know you are going to be able to take this information and run with it. So on this evening's panel, we have Miss Kimberly Caudle Lewis, and she is the CEO of Project XYZ. We also have Miss Ebony Parker Wong, who is the CEO of Awaiting Ventures Travel Suite, and Miss Jody Keenan, who is the State Director for the Virginia Small Business Development Centers, which are located in Northern Virginia. We have Miss Karen White, who also works for the same organization, but her specialty is finance. And last but not least, we have Miss Bernice Vaughn, who is an entrepreneur and is affectionately known as the Hat Lady. So ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you relax, get a pencil and pen ready, and just be in a very relaxed position to learn how these individuals fared through our COVID-19 season. First, I would like to introduce or talk a little bit about Miss Bernice Vaughn. She started her business in 2001. And growing up, she had a passion for hats because her grandmother always wore hats. And as you can see, she is absolutely fabulous in her fascinator. Bernice, tell us a little bit about your experience during COVID-19. You're on mute.
Okay. Are we there?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
It's nice to see everybody this evening.
Hello.
And thanks for inviting me to this workshop. My experience during COVID was a bit challenging, as with everybody, I'm sure. What I do is I sell hats, and hats are more of a specialty item versus something that you have to have. So when the pandemic hit, all of my events were canceled or postponed till later this year, like my Kentucky Derby parties, my Easter fashion shows, the events where I made most of my money, all those events got canceled. So I had to regroup and think, well, now what am I going to do? How am I going to go forward? So I already had a website, but I wasn't keeping it up to date because I was busy with my daily activities and I was doing it okay without it. So I met with my nephew, who is a great guy. If you need somebody who on the computer, He's great to have. So he helped me revamp my website. But even doing that, because I mean, nobody's going anywhere. Everybody's at home. Nobody's wearing church hats. Nobody's wearing fascinators. So I thought, well, the dressy hat's not going to work for me right now. So let me try to push more of my casual attire, my casual hats. So we focus on those, putting those on the website. And that really did help a lot. And then I thought, but I need more than that. And I was thinking, well, you know what? Everybody is wearing a mask. Everybody's wearing face masks. So let me just pivot for a little while and get into the face mask. So I started designing and sewing and making face masks and selling them to friends, to family, to whomever. And the face mask took off. So that helped me get through a lot of it, but it has been very difficult and very challenging. And so now we're coming into 2021 and things are opening up. I have had one event so far this season. And so I think we're going in the right direction.
Absolutely awesome. So you had mentioned that you had to pivot and you came up with the face mask.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you maneuvered through getting your material. I know for some of us, going into the fabric store at the very beginning, the stores were empty and we couldn't do that. So can you explain to us how you manufactured and how you got your goods and services?
Okay, my sister is a seamstress. And so I relied on her to check out and find material wherever she could. She ordered online and she went to different stores and, she was able to get a lot. And so that's how we managed that.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Were there any challenges for you in the financial department? How did you take out any loans?
Oh, absolutely. That was a big challenge. What happened was when we heard about the SBA and the EIDL program, I signed up for that. I was very fortunate that I was able to get a loan. First, they gave you a grant of X amount of dollars, and then you were able to get a loan on top of that. So that sustained me for a while. And then Fairfax County had a program called Fairfax Rides. And so I applied for that, and I was very fortunate to be able to get assistance with that grant. And then also through the governor's office, there was a program called Rebuild Virginia. And that was a grant also. So I applied for that, and I was very lucky that I was able to get that grant. So that is what kept me going, so I could keep my resources going. So that's how it all worked.
So if you could impart some of your wisdom moving forward, no one plans for a pandemic as an entrepreneur. What would you tell our audience?
Okay, what I would say is you still have to stay focused, even though things look down, look a little bit, like things are not going okay for you. Just stay focused, keep trotting along, and you'll come through it. If you can, when you're making money, put a little bit aside. Put a little bit aside, because you never know going down the pike what is going to happen. Like with this pandemic, we didn't know. And so if you don't have something squirreled away for that rainy day, it's going to be very tough.
Well, thank you, Miss Bernice.
You're very welcome.
Next on our program, we have Miss Kimberly Caudle Lewis, and she is the CEO of XYZ. And it is a multi-facet organization. Kimberly, can you share with our audience a little bit about your experience during the COVID season?
Hi, everyone. I'm honored to be here this evening. I am Kim Lewis, owner and CEO of Project XYZ. And as Ms. Angela mentioned, it's got several different tentacles to it. We are everything from government contracting to manufacturing. And one of the things that got hit the hardest was restaurant business. We own a restaurant called Superhero Chef down in Tuscumbia, Alabama. And that was where we had to make the most pivots to understand how to deal with COVID. Our restaurant wasn't necessarily geared towards takeout. It was not geared for, to be used for to-go type things. So we truly had to pivot, change our menu, had to change how we prepared our food, had to actually change how we deliver our food because we were made for a sit-down restaurant. So we weren't even set up for delivery or for Grub South, which is the delivery service. So to do everything that we had to do, we truly had to pivot and change to figure out how we could stay relevant and stay in the light of, people, to let them know we were still there and still open, because there wasn't street traffic where people could walk by and just walk into the restaurant. We had to figure out ways. So we got creative on social media, creating more commercials, advertising the different foods. We had a lot of specials. We created family meals so that when people came to pick up their dinners, they could actually pick it up for the whole family and not just one person. So it was one of those things that was truly challenging because we weren't prepared for that. And we weren't even thinking that way because we had been a sit-down restaurant since we had existed. So to change and have to do that in a time where it had to happen overnight, basically, because, it was one day everybody was wide open and then the next day everything changed. So it was a challenge there at first, but we were able to get the employees and keep everybody employed. So it was a good challenge, but we were able to get through it.
Now that's very interesting. You said keep everyone employed. What changes did you make in your business in order to make that happen?
Well, we were lucky too. I think Ms. Bernice mentioned that she applied for different grants and stuff. We actually applied for the PPP loan, and thank goodness for our local SBDC. I'll get it right, Judy. For our local, because they were a wealth of knowledge to be able to go and talk to figure out how we could qualify for the loan, how to make sure the paperwork was filled out correctly, and how to move that. So when we finally were able to get that, we were able to bring all the employees that we had let go back onto staff and keep them employed. And then with them being able to go out and do some of the deliveries, being able to go out and actually get people to know that we were open, we created creative ways to do them because we didn't need the wait staff necessarily because we weren't waiting tables anymore, but we still were able to use our employees in other ways to make sure that they all kept a job.
Awesome. So being in the restaurant business, one of the things that is unique is your supply chain, getting your goods and services in and out. Can you explain to our audience how you did that?
We actually start working a lot with a lot of local vendors. Before we had the big truck that came in every Monday, we did our supply thing, but we realized a lot of those supply chains weren't open, but we realized there was a lot of local vendors that we didn't even know existed that came out. There was a meat market plant that was right down the street that we knew about, but we didn't know we could actually go there and buy some of our meats and stuff wholesale straight from the plant itself. So we found a lot of local vendors that were actually producing, a lot of homegrown produce and fruits and vegetables and things of that nature. So we were actually able to get those. And we've actually incorporated that into our menu and into our marketing now to say that we're using a lot of local products. So it's actually been a good thing for the community instead of us always, like we said, ordering the big truck come in every Monday afternoon. We're actually able to support the community even better because we found those resources when we had to.
Absolutely spectacular. So that is one side of your business. You are multifaceted. How did you fare doing the contracts and the government contracts and things?
It was, that was truly a challenge. When the government said that, nobody on post and everybody had to figure out what to do, we had to truly pivot because we've got people that are working on top secret things that had to be in the facilities. So we had to coordinate with the government to make sure that we kept them safe while they actually went into the office, actually figured out ways to coordinate people's schedule where if they were able to work on stuff on post or actually in the corporate office. So it was a lot of juggling to figure it out. And then we even had to get the contracts and stuff modified because they didn't even allow for telework. So it was actually a lot of coordination with the government personnel to figure out what we had to do internally with our processes and procedures to make sure that we could even do the telework. So it was some adjustments from that, but it was one of those things the government was willing to work with us, and being that we're partnering with them, it made it a little bit easier to get everything done.
So in hindsight, if you had to impart some golden nuggets to the audience, what would you say?
Biggest thing is just don't be scared of change. I think COVID taught all of us that stuff can change overnight and that you've got to be willing to pivot, especially with government contracting. It's usually the same thing every day, no matter what. Same thing happens. And to have to physically change that and change the philosophy and way of thinking, it the pandemic forced us to do that. So I would just say, be willing to change and know that sometimes those changes can be beneficial to your organization, even though you're resistant to it.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Next, we have Miss Ebony Wong, and I'm excited because she is in the travel industry. And just like the restaurant industry, the travel industry was hit extremely hard during this time period. And Ebony, we are so interested to hear your story.
Well, great evening, everyone. Thank you so much. This is an awesome opportunity just to come together and understand and support each other as we have gone through, and some of us still going through and recouping from the pandemic of 2020. So yes, the travel industry. We didn't think that, it was touchable in a way, but a pandemic like this literally shut everything down. The cruise ships had not been they were in the water, but they weren't going anywhere for a year plus. They're just starting, to take a couple of ships out for test runs. The airlines, of course, they didn't shut all the way down because there was still essential travel that had to be done that way. But the resorts were shut down. Countries were shut down, could not leave and you couldn't come in. So the whole entire travel industry was truly affected. And, my business was no different.
So as we look through your bio, we noticed that you provide luxury travel. Can you share with us the definition of that and tell us a little bit about the business that you do provide?
Yes. So I, during the pandemic, so prior to the pandemic, as we were getting our business off the ground, I knew I didn't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, but I loved to cruise and I loved all-inclusive travel. But during the pandemic, I also had to take time to reinvent myself and reinvent my company and what it was going to be coming out of the pandemic. And I also have a team of about 180 some agents and instructing them, to take that time to do the same thing. So with me, I came out of it with, okay, what do I want to be known for? Because I'm still a practicing nurse consultant full time. And so travel I say it's my side business, but some days it's my all day business. So luxury travel to me is, 4 and 5 star all inclusive resorts. I put packages together for people so they don't have to think of anything. Pack your bags and be on time for the flight to leave. So cruises, from balcony cabins to suites to master suites, to, when we think about resorts, we're thinking the top of the line room categories, those boutique type resorts that may only have 20, 30 rooms in there. They're secluded. Some of them, like in Seychelles, Africa, just people are like, where is that? So those kinds of trips are what I consider luxury trips. So whether you're cruising ocean or you're cruising river, going up into the little countrysides, and just concierge type travel is what I actually provide.
So with COVID, of course, you could not provide that. Can you describe for us what your pivot looked like? And I'm sure you did have a hard pivot.
Oh, it was more than a pivot. It was like but so what I ended up doing, so in 2019, I had booked about $50,000 in travel for the whole year, right? And come 2020, I had trips where people had paid on their trips. And it just put everyone in like a frenzy. And so I was rearranging trips. We were pushing them out. kept pushing them out until eventually they were just like, you know what, I think this is just not going to happen this year, so I just want to cancel. So I provided that service for them to make sure that they were able to get refunded their money. And then we're like, okay, let's just, we'll try for next year. So what actually happened is all of the trips that I had planned for myself, all of the trips that, my clients had planned, none of them happened in 2020. And so I, at that time, decided, okay, I'm going to use this time, like I said, to basically reinvent myself. So there was no travel being booked whatsoever. But as I share with my team members, travel is coming back. This is not the end of travel. Travel is coming back. Use this time to educate your clients, educate whether they're current clients or future clients when we come out of this, because when they say that the gates are open, the floodgates are literally going to open. And some of them were like, yeah, okay. And some of them did not believe. So we lost about 30 agents from my team. Actually, I lost about 50 agents. I kind of have started gaining back to, 30 at this point, but I lost 50 agents in like no time flat. And so just trying to keep everyone encouraged, keep myself encouraged, and just letting them know this is a time for you to get in, go into, your vendor websites and just play around, get to know what's out there, become certified, choose your specialty. And like I said, keep your clients abreast of what's going on, because we were in on webinars with our various vendors and what was going on. So I was like, take this time to educate them. You will build trust. They will know who to come to when the gates actually open up. So that's really what we had to do, was just really reinvent ourselves. I redid my website, redid my branding during that time. So it was a lot of personal development as well, and helping my team members to just stay encouraged and letting them know how important it was to personally develop during that time as well.
Now, you, as the other individuals that spoke a few moments ago, you all have a common thing that you keep mentioning. You redid your websites. Share with us a little bit of how that went, because websites are not free and they do take time to brand correctly and update correctly. Share with us a little bit of that.
So yes, I Miss Bernice said, as well as Miss Lewis said, they received monies from the government, basically. I knew I didn't want to get into a big debt, with loans, because I personally am coming out of my own school loan, debt. I have one left, and that will be done in December. So I didn't really want to go the route of getting, all of this, all of the loans. And, like I said, I work as a nurse. So financially, I was still getting a salary. I just wasn't able to do the traveling for market research to show people, because that's part of what you do as an advisor. People look to you to go and travel places and share that information with them. So that's the part that I wasn't able to do. And so I did get a small business, a loan from the Small Business Administration, and I needed a new computer because my Surface I had just worn it out. So I did get some things for my office, and in rebranding, paying for my website, paying for a branding suite, those sorts of things. So yes, those things are not free. So that is what I used that small loan for, was to do some of those kinds of things for my business.
Absolutely spectacular. So it's nice to hear the common theme. So when you hear several people kind of veering on that common theme, you know that you're doing something right. So we want to applaud and salute you, ladies. Next, we have what we consider to be resources. We have a dynamic woman by the name of Jody Keenan. And as I had said earlier, she is with the Small Business Administration. and she is going to impart some absolutely wonderful jewels to us. Jody?
Thank you. Thanks. Good evening, ladies. It's a pleasure to be here. First, congratulations to our business owner panelists who did such a great job coming through COVID and are so optimistic about their future for their business. If you don't mind, I will share some slides, Angela. I'll go ahead and load them up if that's okay.
Okay, please do.
And then I'll also make sure that you all get these afterwards. Can you see that main slide?
Yes, yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay. So again, I'm with the Virginia Small Business Development Center Network. We are a resource partner with the Small Business Administration. We're based at George Mason University. We're part of a national network. So the work that I'm going to talk about that happens in the Virginia SBDC happens across the country in every state. So if you're not from Virginia, but maybe DC or Maryland, take heart that you've got resources local to you in your own community as well. Okay. We are in Virginia. We have 27 offices. I just wanted to kind of show you the scope and the breadth of our footprint in Virginia. We serve every city and county, and every business or aspiring entrepreneur is welcome to reach out for our services. I circled in the upper corner there our 4 offices in Northern Virginia, which are in Alexandria, Leesburg, the city of Fairfax, and Springfield, Virginia. So if one of those places or locations is near you, please reach out. Our website is at the bottom of that screen, Virginia SBDC. I know that's a tongue twister, virginiasbdc.org. And on our website, you can find the office near you, using a zip code or just looking at the inventory of the directory of offices. What do we offer? What do we provide? We really offer 3 main categories of, we deliver assistance in 3 main categories. The first is one-on-one, confidential, no cost advising. You reach out to us, you schedule an appointment, we set up a Zoom meeting like this or a phone call. And we start working with you, understanding what your challenges are, what your opportunities are, and helping you execute a plan to address the challenges or realize those opportunities. So one-on-one advising or counseling is the primary service that we offer. We have always done a lot of training and education around business topics and business management topics. That just went on steroids during COVID in the past year. This Zoom platform or GoToMeeting or other virtual platforms have really allowed us to offer a lot more training in webinar format, reach a lot more businesses, and it's certainly convenient for us to service and to reach businesses in this way. So hundreds of webinars a year that are also at no cost. Importantly, we also are an information resource. So although we know a lot and we have a lot of knowledge and expertise, we don't have all the answers. And so we do a lot of connecting business owners and entrepreneurs up with other services and resources in their community. You're going to hear from Karen from the Small Business Financing Authority in a moment, which is a great example of a partner that we refer businesses to all the time. We don't do lending in our program. Many of our borrowers or our clients rather are looking for financing. So we make sure we connect them with resources like lenders. I mentioned our website. We have a lot of information, which I'll highlight in just a moment on our website, tools, checklists, articles, webinars, recorded webinars, online training that you can tap into at your leisure from home or office, any time of day, any day of the week. So that's how we deliver our services. And we're really focused on kind of high level, these big categories of assistance. A lot of business planning. We work with about 40% of our business clients are startup or pre-venture. So how do you get started? How do you write a business plan? Who's your competition? All of those key components. For existing businesses, we help them on the strategic planning side of things. Similar questions, maybe just a different level of analysis. access to capital, access to capital, access to capital. Certainly during COVID, and I'll talk about this in a moment, we worked with thousands of businesses literally on putting together financing applications for SBA programs, for local grant programs, for the state programs that Bernice mentioned as well. So helping business owners understand what the process is to get financing and who has the financing. That can be a conundrum when you're first starting out. Marketing, certainly again, during COVID, helping businesses like you heard with our previous panelists, pivot, find new ways to market, everything became electronic and online. So shifting, expanding websites, doing things on e-commerce platforms, pivoting from a sit-down restaurant to a curbside or delivery. So and communicating that new change with your customers. So marketing, social media, and then government contracting. How to do business with state, federal, and local government. We work with a lot of businesses on getting situated and started in that process. Okay, let's see. We have a couple of specialty programs as well. So we work with any business, any industry, but then we have some specialty areas, which I won't go into too much detail. Commercialization assistance, companies who have technologies and are looking to launch a technology business. If you're interested in exporting or international trade, even importing, we can work with you and help set that process up. Growth companies, so businesses that have hit a plateau and now are ready to scale, helping owners strategize around how to accomplish that. Craft beverage, so we work with breweries, wineries, distilleries, which in Virginia, there are a lot of those, helping them both get started, but then also look at markets outside of Virginia and even internationally. We work with independent retailers and restaurant owners in our small town and merchant program, really focusing on downtown Main Street business districts. Think of, in Northern Virginia, think of Alexandria or Occoquan or Leesburg, some of those walkable downtowns that have independent retailers. We do a lot of work with those business owners and communities to make sure that that collection of vibrancy is strong and sustained. And then we have some specialty services around cybersecurity, data security, how to make sure that your business data is secure, but that also your customer data is secure. So those are our specialty programs. Let me just touch a little bit on the tools that we assembled and curated on our website, specifically around COVID business recovery. When you go to our website, you'll see a link at the top for COVID business recovery. We have sections related to funding resources, which is continuing to expand and change, right? There's all kinds of almost everyday modifications. Lately, we're working with businesses on the Restaurant Revitalization Fund and also the Sheltered Venue Operator Grant. So you can find information about those specialty programs for funding. Links to Departments of Health and Labor and CDC around the rules and the regulations, health and safety to keep your customers healthy and safe and your employees healthy and safe. And then we have a lot of industry specific information, particularly for businesses that were impacted the most by COVID. So hospitality, restaurant and retail, leisure, tourism, personal services. But the piece that I really want to show, I'm going to give you a screenshot of it, is we have a whole section around review, reset, and revive. And I'll be honest, we've changed those R words a couple of times to kind of reflect the mood and the attitude of our clients. So we think that this is a bit more positive than response, recovery, resiliency. But what you'll see here is these three sections. Sorry about that. Each section, like we're talking about reset. This isn't live, but if you were to click on here, you're going to pull up, I'm going to give you some bullet points around safety and workplace guidelines. We're going to include articles. We're going to include links to probably government sources, but certainly industry resources where things, particularly for tourism or restaurants, where food safety and food handling was a priority during COVID. So I invite you to take a look at this kind of breadth of resources. The way we'd like folks to use this website is go on here, kind of get yourself, figure out where are you in this process? Are you in the review? Like, I'm ready to move forward. Have we already made some steps forward, or are we, well into recovery and looking to the next greatest idea? Go through this, kind of assess yourself and where you are, and then schedule an appointment with one of our business advisors. At that point, you'll have answers and you'll have questions and you'll want more answers. So this is a great kind of way to kind of frame your conversation with our business advisors. I also want to point out on our website, I mentioned all of the webinars and videos we have. This top section will show you some of our upcoming webinars. A roadmap for recovery series. This is all around digital presence, digital footprint, cyber, and also resiliency planning, right? We've been through this once. We all realized that we probably didn't have all of our ducks in a row or in an orderly fashion. So let's learn from that and kind of keep ourselves organized from this point forward with important financial information, client information, supply chain information. So anyway, all kinds of webinars that are coming up. You can register on our website for those. And then we have an inventory, because we record, like we're doing tonight, we record all of our webinars, post them up on our website, so you can go back there and look at them at your leisure. They're organized by category. You can see this is the restaurant and retail category. We've done a couple of things in Spanish, particularly in the restaurant space around the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. But you can see we do financing, co-opetition, supply chain information, e-commerce for retailers. So I invite you to take a look at that. You can scroll through, no charge, well, there's a little bit of fuss. We do ask for you to register. We want to know who you are in your email, but hopefully that's not going to prevent you from getting the information. And then finally, we also maintain an inventory of some of our sample clients. Now, this is a kind of a screenshot of clients that we've worked with in the past year from all around Virginia. Again, you can organize this by industry type. If you are in the bread industry, or if you're a baker and you just want to learn more about bakery, you can pull up our client stories around that. And they're also organized or searchable by geography. So if you just want to know what's happening in Northern Virginia, or if you're outside Northern Virginia, Charlottesville, Richmond, wherever, you can find client stories there, which I think bring to light the kind of work that we do. Sometimes this idea of, oh, come in, we'll advise you, we'll help you, that's a little bit vague. And what does that mean? So take a look at the stories and get a sense of the challenges that businesses brought to us and how we were able to help them. And then once and final, please, all of the journey can start at the website. You'll get a lot more information there, and also links to locations so you can schedule appointments and come in and see us. Thank you.
Jody, thank you. That was a diamond. That was not a golden nugget. That was a diamond. Thank you so very much.
Welcome.
And it's great to know that these services are across the country, because of course we have people who are at our webinar tonight that are not just based in Virginia. So that's really, really good to know. I like the theme, the review, reset, and revive. Very, very positive, gives us a bigger and more positive picture. But what would Jody's services be without the financial component?
Mm-hmm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to hear from Miss Karen White, who will present the financial component. And I will let you know that, again, she works for the Virginia Small Business Financing Authority. And she brings to the table information that everyone can use. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Can I share my screen? Give me a second here.
Certainly.
Okay, is that up where you all can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. We'll move forward. I am Karen and I am with the Virginia Small Business Financing Authority. And at one time, my organization was deemed one of Virginia's best kept secrets. Well, I don't want to be a secret. I'm shouting it to the top of my lungs because we want everyone to know about our organization, because one of the things business owners always want to know is, how can I access capital? How did they get the money and I didn't get any? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my organization, what I do, and then what will help everyone is what are the tools to access capital. First of all, we are the Virginia Small Business Financing Authority. And you all work with me a little bit here. I'm used to having someone move my screen for me, but I can double duty. So we offer a small micro loan, which Jody and I partner a lot on with this. We have a great partnership. Actually, one of the pictures that she had on her screen where she was showing you some of the businesses that had success stories, we partnered on one of those. One of her representatives counseled the business, sent the business to me, and that person was successful with getting not only a loan with my organization, but they also received funding from the Rebuild Virginia grant. So when you work with us, there are some success stories to be told. So the micro loan, the child care loan, cash collateral, loan guarantee, and then how to access capital. What we do, we have direct loans, which means that the SWAM micro loan that I spoke of and the child care loans, you would pay my organization directly for that. Those are smaller loans. If you needed a larger loan, let's say you was starting a business and you needed to have a building for a leasehold improvement, or you want to purchase a building, then we don't compete with banks. It's very important. We do not compete with banks. We partner with banks. So let's say you go into the bank and you want to get a loan, but the bank feels a little bit, they don't want to take that much risk. They can reach back out to us and we will assist you in order that you can, go along with your venture. So the micro loan, $10,000 up to $25,000. And I'm not going to read through this because I also will send this to Miss Angela and Miss Yvette, that they can send that out to anyone that would like the PowerPoint screen. And then also you have the recording, but it tells what the qualifications are and what you can use it for. I'm really trying to get down to the good part, because whether you use me or another lender, I want you to understand what it takes to access capital. I do want to certainly mention on this child care program that we have, you all might have children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews. I have a child care program that's a loan that is at a 0.000% interest rate that can be used to purchase cots, cubbies, vans, playgrounds. So I've had a lot of success stories with that. So as we go on over, and I told you a little bit about the cash collateral program. The cash collateral, we can do 40% of your request to the bank or up to $500,000. And then on the loan guarantee, we can do up to 75% of the loan value or a max of $750,000. Now, briefly, because unless you're a financial expert, I want to try to explain it where we all can understand. A cash collateral would mean if you went to the bank to get a loan, and let's use small numbers. Let's say that the loan was $100,000. We maybe would put $75,000 of our cash at that bank, and the bank would hold it for collateral against your loan so that you could move forward as a small business owner. And then the loan guarantee would be, we would sign like a co-signer with you in order for you to grow your business. Of course, the bank has to approve that, and then we come in with the banking partner. So now we're getting to the good part. We're going to talk about how do you access capital. First of all, we have a loan application, and then I have someone over here in the thought process of what does she need to do? What do you need to put together? Now, this is tiny. I'm going to go through it quick, but you all still will have the copies at the end. This is the information that I will be asking you as a lender. But before I go into this is where Jody and I partner, because I'm one person that does this micro loan and this child care loan for the entire Commonwealth. That's what my specialty is. So a lot of times if I get someone and they need help with their application with some of this, these bullet points that I'm going to run through, I will connect with Jody and say, hey, this business owner needs some help putting the application package together. And she's connected me with all of her representatives all over Virginia. They work with them, help them put everything together, and they send it back to me so I can do the financial piece. So what I would be looking for is, your proof that you are registered with the Virginia State Corporation Commission, your EIN number. And Miss Angela asked me a question when we was talking yesterday. Well, what if the business doesn't have some of these? So my response is, if you don't have, I have 12 bullet points on here. If you don't have at least 10 out of these 12 bullet points, you might have a hobby and not a business. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to know that when you're going to access capital, we're turning this into a business because you're putting yourself in a different lane. I'm looking for 2 to 3 years of your tax returns. I'm looking for a profit and loss statement, a balance sheet, cash flow. And if all of this sounds foreign to you, if you have an accountant, your accountant can generally produce this. QuickBooks can produce this. Or you can go to Miss Jody and her people can tell you, hey, this is where you need to go to get this information and how you need to produce it. Operating agreements, that tells me who actually can sign on the loan. I need to know that you are the person that say, yes, you have the authority to sign on this business loan. We only do business loans. So that's one thing I do want to say. And this is a question I get all the time. Well, does my personal credit matter? Well, here we are. Yes, your personal credit matters. Yes, your personal credit matters. Yes, your personal credit matters. Because let's say you have a business and then all of a sudden you decide after 2 years, I've made you a loan and you need to pay it back over 4 years. Well, after the second year of payments, you decide, you know what? I'm going to hook up with Miss Ebony and I'm going to travel for the rest of my life. I don't want to do this business anymore. Well, guess what? You still owe this money. So I need to know, what are you going to do? Are you going to pay it with your personal funds, or are you going to sell the business and recoup enough money to to pay off this loan and retire? So that's why we require you to sign as a guarantor on a loan. And there's not too many lenders that won't require that. This is basic information that most all lenders will ask. These are the things I need you to know when you come to me or any other lender. How much do you want to borrow? Don't say, how much can I get? I don't know how much you can get. I need to know how much you need. How much do you need? What are you going to use it for? If you tell me you want $100,000, I need you to say, hey, I need $100,000 because we're expanding our business and we're going to spend $20,000 over here. We're going to spend $40,000 over here, and we're going to spend maybe another $25,000 over here. And then we will leave maybe $10,000 to $15,000 just for a cap in case the estimates are off. That's the kind of information a lender wants to hear. About your business. Can you tell me about your business? Can you tell me what you do, what your business does, what service it provides in 2 to 3 minutes? Now think about that a second. 2 to 3 minutes. Can you tell me? Because I want to know what you do. I need to know as a lender if it makes sense. And then I want to know, how do you get paid? I have a lot of business owners, or maybe they want to start a business. They have some wonderful ideas. And then I will say, oh, sounds like a good idea. How are you getting paid? And everything stops. We're at deer in headlights. So it's so important to know that you have a business, that you know how you're going to get paid. And also, is it lucrative for your area? Where you live, is the business going to work in that area? Because I work over the entire state, I get to deal with a lot of interesting businesses, but the businesses that are lucrative in the western part of Virginia might not be as lucrative in the northern part of Virginia. It's almost like I'm in one state, but I see such a difference as far as where people are located. What are your sales from your business? Where does your most income derive from? Do you make most of your money in December, or do you make most of your money in the summer? When are your sales high? When are they low? We talked about how much you need to borrow. Know what your debts are. What are you already paying? Because what I'm looking at is, where's your money coming from? How much you have? And then how much do you have left? Which is your profit after you've paid all of your debts? When I see that bottom line, then I'm saying, okay, can they service another loan? quick example of that $25,000 loan. If you got a $25,000 micro loan today, now everybody think, if you got $25,000 today, how would that help your business? You know, you're thinking about what you could do, what you could buy, what you could enhance. What I really want you to think about is, you know what you can do with it. But on August the 5th, you're going to have a payment of $579 to be drafted out of your account. That's what you really need to know. If you can afford that payment, and then we want to look at it in black and white, because it sounds good. You know how when we was real young and we went to the car lot to get a car, and we saw that car, we saw this, but we really liked that. And we thought, you know what? I'm getting that over there because I really want it, so I know I can pay for it. But then when you drive off the lot and you start making those payments, sometimes it's not as fun. It's stressful. So just know this. Sometimes if a lender tells you no, it's not because they want to say no. We have to make loans. That's our job. We need to make loans. It's to benefit you as well as to benefit us, because a loan needs to be good for you and for the person that's making the loan for you. If you are a small business, I would encourage you to start out with me. If you've never had a loan before, then we do require that you have been in business at least 2 years for this microloan, because these are state funds that we are lending out. But if you have not been in business at least 2 years and you are starting a small business, check with some of the smaller banks. Sometimes they will work with you. It's about having a relationship. Please don't forget about the services that Ms. Jody offers. I think that was everything I wanted to go over with you all. Make sure you have a valid ID, personal financial statements. There's just a lot to getting a loan. And when you look out and you see, first of all, let me commend all of you business owners, because you know what you go through. People see, oh my gosh, they've got their own business. That, you know, there is a lot to owning a business. You have got to take care, you know how to do what you do, but the businesses can survive if you take care of the business part of your business. And these ladies that have been on the panel, I have to commend them, because they are taking care of the business part of their business. They realize that, hey, I need to stop. I need to pivot. I need to try this, or I need to try that. So I want to commend all of you all. And that is all on Miss Angela. Unless you have some questions, there is my information. Please take a picture, a screenshot, or whatever, until we can get everything sent out to you all.
I just wanted everyone to know, yes, we will be getting these valuable slides out to you, to everyone who is registered. We have your email, and we will make sure that you get a copy of them. The information is absolutely valuable to you running a business. And, you know, I want to thank you for touching on those points that you as a business owner need to be able to state your business in 3 minutes or less, what you do, who you are, and your brand. But more importantly, you emphasize that we also need to be able to document these things. And those 12 points are very, very crucial. So we thank you, Karen. I know I'm going to be taking your information and utilizing it in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that we do here at the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Northern Virginia chapter is we do take surveys. And at this point, Madam Chair is going to put out in the chat box a link for one of our surveys before we go into question mode. Our surveys help us to plan our program year. They help us to keep a pulse on what you, our customers, we feel that you are our customers because we service you, want to see in the coming years. So I'm excited. Madam Chair, if you can put that link out there. And
yes, I am doing it right now.
Okay.
It's in the chat. And also, ladies, I would like for you to do a poll for us to see how many business owners that we have online. And I'm going to launch the poll right now. I think I'm launching it. Am I launching it?
You launched the poll, but you didn't give us the place where we could.
It's in the chat for the
It's
survey.
in the chat.
Do you see it in the chat?
Yes.
And so while they're taking the poll or the survey, there's a question, or not a question, it's a request in the chat for the hat lady. If you can you re-enter your information in the chat again, please?
Madam Chair, are you done with your poll?
Well,
Because it's closed.
yes,
Because it's
I know.
closed.
Take it down.
Yvette, it shows up on my screen and asks if I want to share results. Do you see that too?
Yes.
Oh, you did. Okay, good. I didn't know why I was seeing it. So if you saw it, great. Okay.
That's because you're a co-host.
So,
Oh, that's great. We have quite a few business owners on board this evening.
I'm going to.
And we'll just give you a few more minutes to fill out that survey. And then we can go into question mode.
Can I just log out of it, Angela?
So as we're waiting, one of the questions that popped up was for Jody in terms of the type of business that one would have. The question was your nonprofit foundations. Does the small business, you're right, it is a tongue twister. Does the SBDA also provide help to those organizations that are nonprofit?
We do. We can help you kind of structure the planning for a nonprofit. What we don't work on in that regard is helping you get foundation funding to support your nonprofit. We can point you in the right direction, but we don't have expertise in grant writing from that standpoint. But as far as like how to structure your nonprofit, absolutely we can do that.
And there was a question from someone who wanted to know, I guess they were in disbelief. Are your services free? Are the services free that your organization provides across the country?
They are. Our advising is always free. Our training for the past year and probably for the rest of this year will be free as well, because and I failed to mention that we're doing everything remotely. So everything right now is on Zoom or some other virtual platform. Sometimes training will have a modest cost associated with it, really just cost recovery, but the advising is always free. What I like to describe as an example, it's when you come to us with your problem or your challenge, or you need help with something, we do some work, you do some work, we do some work, you do some work. If you stop doing the work, we stop doing the work. So it's not a consulting agreement or a consulting engagement where you come, you tell us what you need, we go away, we do all the work and we deliver it for you. We're kind of, your investment in this is kind of working alongside us. Actually, we're working alongside you to help identify the actions or answer the questions so you can help make decisions to take action for your business. But it's all no cost, because we're funded by our federal partner at the Small Business Administration, and in our case in Virginia, local governments, local offices of economic development and the like fund us so that we can hire staff and provide the services to you at no cost.
Okay. Thank you. And if you do have a question, please put it in the chat. Someone wanted to have Miss Bernice's website in the chat, and we'll also provide that when we send out the slides as well.
And I also have slides at the end that has everyone's information on it. You can take a picture of. If you have a question, you can come off mute and ask. And if you want to raise your hands, that'd be fine too.
So I do have one question. And in terms of the software or the tools that you would use, Karen had mentioned, several documents that one needs to have. Is there any one particular tool that you would suggest?
A lot of people use QuickBooks. That's probably the top, but you can't afford QuickBooks. But then also it's in different levels, and I can't quote the price on what it is, like it's a monthly fee. But you need to make sure that you have enough revenue in order to afford that. There's also a system that I really like. It's called Waves, WAVES. Waves app, and it's actually free. There's a paid version, but it's very, very comparable to QuickBooks. It's something to have your records, because you can see the charts and the graphs when you plug everything in. And then you might think that you can't afford an accountant, but if you come to someone like me, I'm going to ask you all of these questions, and you don't want to feel like you're backpedaling. You're going through this process. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a loan. And then you come to me and I say, I've got to have all of this over here. And you feel like you've got to go through A, B, C, D, E, F, G to get back to just that one spot. So if you haven't started it, talk with someone about it, interview these people. A lot of times accountants, especially with small businesses, they will throw a price out. But if you say, I'm not making enough money to pay that, they will work with you. Always negotiate everything. So that's what I recommend. Negotiate everything, and the Waves and the QuickBooks are the two that I know. And some people just use a spreadsheet. Just have something.
So Lisa Starr had her hand raised.
Hi, ladies. What I wanted to know, as far as the certifications with the SBDC, is that like a one-day course, or is that like a week? Is that something that you do at night online? Like, what is the process in order to become a certified Virginia business?
You want to answer that, Karen?
Okay, so what I was talking about with the certification is basically you go through the State Corporation Commission. Just Google that, Virginia State Corporation Commission. You simply go online and put your information in, and it's $100, and they will actually pop up in your email your form that says you are an LCC. Now, there's different types of entities. There's an S Corp. If you're thinking about going into business for yourself, you might want to talk to your accountant. I think that's just the wise thing to do, or talk to an accountant. If you don't have an accountant, talk to whoever does your taxes and said, hey, for instance, I had someone that he does pressure washing, and he was working on his job, but he had been doing the pressure washing on the side. Well, when he could see how much money he could make, he talked to his person that did his taxes and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this full time. How do you think I should set up my entity? That's what it's called. So he set up an LLC, the State Corporation Commission, and then the EIN is your employee identification number. That is to your business what your social security number is to you. It identifies you. So if you come to me for a loan, I'm going to have all of your information. When I'm pulling a credit, and I do pull 3 today, I'm going to put in your business name, the business address, and it could be your personal address. I'm going to put in that EIN number, and then I'm going to put in your personal information. So it'll be a tri-merge, all of your business information. It might not be anything there. You might not have built business credit yet. Also, I want to mention to you, if you are a new business and you're trying to build credit, there are some companies like, it's called Uline, ULINE. Not promoting them, but I just happen to know that they provide a net over 30, which means you can get product from them, they will let you keep the product for 30 days before you have to pay for it. And that's a way to build credit for your business because you want to do it in your business name. Also, when you go open up your business bank account, they might will offer you a business credit card. And that's another way to build business credit. You want to start small and grow big. Start small. That's really important, and grow big. Remember, Rome was not built in one day.
Next, we have a question from Carmen.
Let's see. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, I was wondering, clearly all panelists are incredibly talented. If you were to identify your secret sauce, what has kept you alive, what has kept your business, what has kept your positive attitude and that stick-to-itiveness, what would your secret sauce be? And that's for each of the panelists.
Ladies, now I'm interested in your secret sauce.
So I guess I'll go. For me, loving what I do, and just sheer determination, well, optimism. So keeping myself encouraged about the turnaround that was going to happen and the boom, because we just kept saying it, travel, there is going to be a travel explosion. And so keeping myself uplifted and loving what I do. So I told you guys that all of 2019, I booked about 50,000 in travel. The first 5 months of this year, I've booked 50,000 in travel. And I have several quotes that went out on yesterday, and just waiting to, for my clients to decide to, which option they're going to select. So I would just say loving what I do and keeping yourself motivated that things are going to turn around.
Wow. Kimberly, what's your secret sauce?
I think Ebony covered it the best. I mean, it's just having the right attitude through the whole thing. There were times when things would get crazy, you look like there was no end to it, but then you realize when you start hearing the stories from the employees and from your team and how everything was working, how everybody was working cohesively together, it kind of gave you that extra motivation because you had the team, everybody was on the same page and wanted to get to the next phase. So it was just that atmosphere that made everybody want to succeed together.
And Miss Bernice?
Yeah. You're on mute, Miss Bernice.
There we go.
There you go.
I'm muted.
You're on mute.
Ma'am.
Okay, I want to echo what the ladies have said, but also knowing that your customers are waiting for you. That's good encouragement. They've been calling to know, when are you going to be coming out? When are you going to have events again? So being positive and determination.
Okay, I have a question from the chat from Ms. Tamara Baptiste. If you're looking for a grant instead of a loan, does the SBDC maintain a database?
We can certainly help you get financing for your business. I want to put a caveat that there were grants available for existing businesses during this recovery period, but there are typically not grants for startup businesses. So, but we can work with you in figuring out what funding there might be or how to bootstrap so you don't have to get funding for your business. So for existing businesses that were struggling through COVID in the past year, and there'll be more coming out for existing businesses, I think, in the next couple of months throughout 2021, there were grants, but there's not typically grant available for starting a business. But we can help you with other sources of funding.
Okay, we have another question from the chat from Yolandria Dixon. Although I'm not a business owner, and at the moment I do not plan to become one, I have a number of family members and friends who are either starting their business or interested in becoming a business owner. This session was beneficial. I thought this was a question. Was beneficial and enlightening. Lots of great information and available resource for both. Thank you. I'm sorry. I thought that was a question. So there is a question from Ebony Montgomery. The travel industry, will we have to show our vaccine record?
Good question.
So as of right now, no, you do not. There are countries that require you to get tested before you come. And so of course you have to have a negative test. A lot of the resorts are doing your return COVID test because, you know, the CDC put that out that you returning to the US, you have to have a negative COVID test, right? So the resorts are actually offering that for free. And you know, I told all of my clients, as soon as you check in, go to the concierge desk so that you can schedule for your return COVID test, and you should get those results back that same day. So you definitely, you know, I tell them don't want to wait for that. You want to do that immediately. So as of right now, they are not requiring you to show vaccination records, but there are a number of countries that are requiring a negative COVID test before you go, and definitely one as you return back from anywhere that's not a U.S. Territory.
Thank you. I don't see any more questions in the chat. If I missed your question that's in the chat, you can feel free to come off mute and ask your question.
Well,
Angela,
ladies,
you
I
have-
will definitely say that we are all in excellent company because our panelists have survived COVID. They found innovative ways to move forward. And I will let you know, I plan on learning from each and every one of you as I move forward. This is just absolutely phenomenal that we survived a pandemic. And not only did we survive a pandemic, we thrived during it. So I want to thank our panelists for participating with us today. And I want to thank our guests. You know, drop us an email, let us know the results of you participating in this particular open forum and how it affected you as you move forward. Madam Chair, I would like to say thank you to our illustrious president, Miss Sheila Bryant, who could not be with us tonight because she has a plethora of duties to do, this being only one of them, for providing us the opportunity to put on this workshop. So I want to thank our chairwoman, Miss Yvette Jefferson, who has done a phenomenal job at putting this together. I thank you. I'm excited because I know that I'm going to be able to prosper from our discussion this evening.
Yeah.
Madam Chair?
Yes, and I think that everyone has put their information in the chat. And if you didn't get to see it, I think I'm going to, what am I going to do? Yeah. I am going to share some screenshots for you. This is information if you want to take a picture of the Finance Authority contact information. This is the Small Business Development Center information if you want to take a picture. This is Awaiting Adventures Travel Site Suite. Miss Ebony Woe. Thank you very much. This is the Hat Ladies information. Thank you, Miss Bernice. And this is Miss Kimberly Caudle Lewis, Project XYZ information. Ladies, I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your willingness to be a part of this panel. Thank you to the Small Business Development Center and the Small Business Financing Authority for being a part of this. I greatly appreciate everyone's time tonight, for sticking with us to the end. And if there's no more questions, And we are going to adjourn this meeting. And we say thank you again for being a part of this. I hope you did take the time to fill out the questionnaire, because that helps us know what you're looking for and how we can plan our program again next year. So if there's nothing else anyone wants to add, going once, going twice. Everybody have a great Juneteenth. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.